All right, this is take 3. Good morning, everybody. This is Daddybear, the Danger Cook. Rare danger, as in my hat. My hair is a mess, don't even ask. This morning I'm going to be showing you guys how I prepare a dry rub. Well, I've already put the rub together. This is pre-prepared. I've made it, but I'll tell you what's in it. For a beautiful 11-pound pork roast. Oh my God, this thing is huge, right? It's ginormous. So, to that end, what I have here in my dry rub, I've got salt and pepper, equal amounts, garlic powder, garlic powder, onion powder, and because we like our food a little spicy here in Southern California, it used to be part of Mexico, I have some spicy taco seasoning that I've added to it. It does wonderful with the pork. And this roast is large enough that I can have it for dinner tonight. I can do shredded pork the next day. I can even have pork tacos later on in the week if I want to. This is a big roast, and it'll feed a big group, or it'll feed me several times and Harold several times. So don't forget the kiddies. They like Daddy's pork roast too. Apparently my pork roast is good and is sought after and respected. So I'm like, yay to that. Anyway, so what I'm going to do here is figure out a way that I'm just going to basically take the roast out of the plastic packaging that it's in, and I'll be putting it on a rack inside a roaster that's large enough to actually hold it. Now, I don't cover my roast when I do this, because I like my skin crispy. I like when the fat crisps up real good, but that fat, because the way I score it, will render into the meat itself as it cooks, which is really super tasty. And I do apologize for the shaky video. Every time I touch something, my table's moving here a little bit. I think I need to get under there and level it out. But anyway, let me grab my rack real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, that was a nice interlude, was it? And this is a rack that I'll be using. It's out of my crock pot. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to turn this guy upside down so that it sits up on the legs like this. And the roast will sit here on top. The reason why I do that is because when it's up on a rack, the oven air is circulating all the way around the roast, and it's cooking on all 4 sides evenly, and it helps the skin to crisp up even on the bottom here. Plus, all the juicy good bits and the fat that renders down and cooks in the bottom of the pan can be used to make some absolutely outstanding black coffee pork gravy that is unbelievable. I'll be doing that in another segment. After I get the roast cooked, obviously. Now, when the roast cooks, it goes into the oven for 2 hours at 350 degrees for the first 2 hours, and then you back the heat down to 325, 300-ish. I like to do it at 325, and then I can check it. And that goes for another 5.5 hours after that. The total cook time is 7.5 hours. Now, this is something that you can do at night. You can put it in before you get ready to go to bed. But you're going to have to set the timer. Hopefully, if you do that, you have an oven that will automatically lower the temperature after the first 2 hours. Otherwise, you're going to have to get back up and turn the oven down. But it'll cook overnight and be ready for morning if you want. One of the things that you need to keep that's important too when serving a pork roast like this is that you want to always serve it warm, because the fat does render down into the meat, and if you slice it and serve it cold, like on a sandwich, that fat will be congealed, and a lot of people don't like that, me included. I do enjoy the fat flavor, but I don't want a greasy mouth, basically, unless there's something to be greasy for, you know what I mean? Wink. Anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and take this out of the package real quick. Let me grab a knife. This is where the danger comes in right here. Let's hope I don't chop my fingers off, right? So I'm just going to take it and cut the plastic a little bit here and take this big fat roasty roast out of its package. And there is some blood and stuff in the package. I like to use that as well. I'll go ahead and pour that liquid off. Good Lord, this thing is really in there. Scissors might be better here. But I like to take and pour that blood and the juices that are in the packaging into the pan as well, because that makes more goodness for the gravy that I told you about earlier in the segment here. So I'm just going to cut the package open here. And say hi to Mr. Roasty Roast. And I'll pull him out. Now this is a bone-in pork shoulder roast is what this actual cut of meat is. And this technique works with a boneless roast as well. You'll just need to adjust your cooking times for weight and whether or not the bone's in. So here's the roast, you see. There's the fat side, and then there's the lean side. And what we're going to be doing with the dry rub is putting it on the fat side. This is commonly called a ham hock too, if you're familiar with the term. So I'm just going to set the roast down in my little pan here. And this is all the liquid that was in the package. I just go ahead and I'm going to just pour that right into the bottom of the pan, because that blood and those little bits of fat and stuff, when they cook down, they help make the roux that's so tasty for the gravy. So be sure and wash your hands after you've handled this pork, which I have just done without gloves. It's important that you do that. You don't want to get wetness into your rub that you're trying to use, and you don't want to spread germs around, and we're all very conscious about germs right now, aren't we? So let me pause here real quick, and we'll pick up after I wash my paws. Okay, I'm back. I've washed my little bear paws, but I'm doing a bit of a bathroom remodel for some friends, a light remodel, and I've cut myself in a couple places over the last couple of days. So I need to grab some gloves real quick, because I don't want to get the salt from the rub in my wounds and make me go, ow. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back and I'm gloved. Woo. Now I'm going to set this, I'm going to move my little mount here, and I'm going to set it down so you can sort of see what I'm doing with the roast. I need to put you down a little bit. There we go. All right, you can see my big old belly right here. This is because I'm well fed. Oop. I stuck my scissors on the floor. Okay, the dry rub process is you can imagine, it's just putting some dry spices onto your little toasty roasty. It's lots of fun. And what I've already pre-measured everything out. It was it was 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of, or 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, equal parts garlic powder, onion powder to your taste, and then any other spice that you might want to use. I also did put in about a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. So what I'm going to do, because this is pre-measured and I know it's going to cover the roast, I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle this bad boy stuff on there. Now the reason why they call it a rub is because just putting it onto the surface is not going to be enough. Yeah, there's a little bit of moisture there that's grabbing a hold of the salt portion right now, but the downside is that when you stick this in the oven, all of that moisture is going to evaporate rather quickly, and you want to get the flavors down into the meat itself. So I just rub it, coat it, make sure that stuff is getting down in the goodness there, pat it around, spread it around. And then what I like to do too is, I'm going to show you a little secret. After I've done the initial rubbing, shut up, no foreign questions, please. No, after I've done the initial rub, I like to take about, I don't know, maybe a dime-sized dollop of olive oil, and I will coat my gloves with it. I usually do this barehanded, and then I'm going to pat that down and make sure that all this goodness that you see right here like this gets down to the meat, and it sticks a little bit. You could also coat it with oil first, but you don't want to go hog wild with the oil, because remember, what we're doing here is we're putting this on the roast so that this will melt with the fat and into the meat and flavor it really well. So I've done all that, and using the excess, I put it on the sides so that my gloves pretty much come out clean. See? Well, that's one's not clean. Here. Oh, here's a spot. There we go. And my gloves come up pretty clean, as you can see. All right, now I'm going to take the gloves off because I'm done with that seasoning and spicing portion. Put the gloves away to the trash can. And then I take a knife, a very sharp knife, mind you. This is one of my sharper ones. And I score the roast. Woo! And I score the roast like you would do just straight across. If I can get it cut here, there we go. I'm scoring the pork real good. And you have to be kind of tough with this, because this is actually pork skin. And you want that to be beautiful and crispy, and venting, or not cutting, but scoring the skin prior to cooking it actually lets the fat that's rendered get down into the meat itself as it cooks. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, holy crap, I just broke my knife. Well, as they say in the Navy, folks, never give up, right? So that was a kitchen boo-boo uses experience there. Let me grab another knife. Okay, this is the monster knife. Now, normally I wouldn't use a serrated edge, but in this particular case, I'm gonna continue with this because I want to finish this video. And actually, I'm finding that the serrated edge cuts through the skin real easy, but I don't want to go deep into the meat. I want to keep it kind of whole. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting these lines about 1 inch apart across the top. As you can see, let me show you here real quick. Harold, can you... Oh, my partner was going to be my cameraman for a second, but he's busy. Honey, can you pick this up and show... just put it down here on the pan so that I can show the people how I've scored it, the way that I'm doing it. Just pick it up and pour it down toward the rice. Okay, now you didn't give me some room to work here. Okay, as you can see, I've done the scores about 1 inch apart, like this. And now I'm just going to go in the opposite direction. I'm going to make it look like little cubes across the top. And I know my rub is getting all everywhere, but that's okay. It's all good. And I'll do one more. Yeah, this now you know why they make footballs out of pig skins. Ha 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 ha. Okay, this rub is scored, and my preheated oven. Not that one. 350. Where's it out right here? 350. Okay, I preheated my oven to 350. And through the magic of television, no, I don't have one prepared. So that's basically what I do to prepare a pork roast. It's really super simple, and it's really, really, really tasty. That salt and pepper, those spices, as the fat renders get down inside the meat, and it's easy. Now, once again, I'm gonna remind you that the cooking time is about 7.5 hours. Let me tilt this up so you can see me. The cooking time is about 7.5 hours. It's 2 hours at 350, and then 7.5 hours at 325. You don't have to open the oven. You don't have to check on it. It's good. I'll know that it's done, and I learned this. My stepmother used to be a cook for the Mineral County, the only school in Mineral County, the Creed School, Consolidated School District. She was the lady that ran the hot lunch program for a number of years. And she taught me the proper way to use a meat thermometer. And I do use them religiously now. I always want to make sure that when it's done, it's between 140 and 160. 140 I find is a nice medium rare-ish, medium rare. Taking it all the way to 360, or I'm sorry, 160, is going to bring you a little bit more well done. And with pork, because it is such a succulent meat, I like to have it just a little bit less than well done. Normally, I eat my meat very well done. I just have them cook a steak until it's shoe leather. That's the way I love it. That's the way I grew up eating it. But that's the deal. So I'm going to take my little roast, and you can watch my little buns move as I carry my roast to the oven. Oink, oink. Because it is a pork roast. And that's it. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, shoot them down there in the bottom in that comment section and let me know what you think, okay? Thank you very much.